Hi,
Hey,
everybody.
everybody. Brother Jimmie and Sister Honey here. Hope you're having a wonderful and blessed day. We got a good show for you today. Let's go make sure I put the image up here. It's called episode 18. Can you believe that, Sister Honey? Episode 18 already. And what's one
Yeah.
in eight? It's nine. So isn't this a wonderful thing? And the subject matter actually is point on to that number nine, too. Living the call, frequency, and form. And we're going to get into a lot of good information today about last week we were talking about listening to the call of your soul. And okay, so now you're listening and you're listening and you're listening. We got all these energies happening, and Sister Honey's going to dig into those. But now you heard the call, now live it. That was the sub headline of this episode. You've heard the call, now live it. And so we all have to move down that path of living it. And what do we need to do in our lives to make sure that we're living it at the highest level that we can, without pressure, without thinking we're in a sprint. We're in a marathon. This is something that's not gonna be quick. It's going to take a little time. It's not going to happen tomorrow, but every second, which is the now, we have to move forward with that. But Sister Honey, before we dig into that, because the energies going on are incredible. um,
Yeah.
it's just unbelievable what I've been going through with my stomach since I kind of got back from Las Terrenas in Dominican Republic. It started there, but then it intensified. And then what was a coincidence is we had this three-eye atlas thing going on. We had the sun blasting us. I mean, just all kinds of stuff happening. And it doesn't seem it's going to be letting up in November in any way, shape, or form. Can you fill in everybody about that? What's going on here, sister?
Yeah. So, really, a lot of it is being asked, and all the astrology points to this. Three Eye Atlas points to this, and Atlas, the being, really points to this. But it's all about really taking responsibility and going within. And it's all about consciousness. I think a lot of times we forget that we are pure consciousness in a body, and the body's made of light. Instead, we start to think about, oh, well, I have this physical thing here. It's not made of light. We forget that it's made of light. And that's part of the veil of forgetting. And there's so much going on with consciousness right now because Atlas is pushing all these codes back to us. He's giving them back. And it's creating a stir of the old stuff that doesn't work with those codes is coming up to the surface. So you're not feeling good. I know last night I had a big, like, third eye activation in the middle of the night, and my eyelids were all puffy. And I woke up in the middle of the night and my sinuses were weird. And I was like, what is going on? I felt fine before I went to bed. And that's what's happening. We're having all kinds of weird stuff go on, body stuff, all of that. But basically, if you think about it, it's pushing out the old programming. So if you're going to replace your hard drive in a computer, you have to pull the other hard drive out.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing right now. And it's all organic because our body is an organic computer. And it's intense. It's intense right now. And I keep thinking, oh, it'll be easier next month. No.
We've got one of the biggest full moons on the 5th,
Yeah.
which I have a post going out on the 4th talking about that inside of the Step Into Your Power community. And it's, man, we have the portal on the 11/11, and then we got another new moon, I think on the 20th or something. I mean, the energies, and I think either on the 9th or the 11th, depending. I mean, one of your sisters told you that it was on the 11th, and then I've seen it was 9th, but Mercury's retrograde, which I've been
Yeah.
feeling for a couple of weeks now that it was coming. So it just shows me again that all of these downloads that we've been getting, all of these codes, and this energy is cleaning our energy body, but also our physical body, because what's been going on in my stomach is just like, okay, wow. And then now certain foods set it off right away, but also when you've got those higher energy beings in your vicinity, you're getting these pains in the side and this stuff we've talked about before. So there's a lot of stuff happening and a lot of energy is hitting. And I even have now my grounding sheets. And
Yeah.
so I'm sleeping on those things for 8 hours at night. And I still have my grounding mat underneath the desk and I'm stepping on it throughout the day because of the energy. So it's interesting time, but it is also time to understand that embodiment, integration, walking faith in action. We got to do all of these things to implement this stuff that we've been getting downloaded. Just like before we got on, I was talking to you about a lot of this stuff that's still in my, let's say, career life, and that I'm going to either sell it or move out of it, or the divine will bring someone else in it, because of the fact that what we're doing here with the step into your power and now the quantum energy wellness is so important to and we're just pieces of the puzzle. We're just stewards and,
Mhm.
of this, right? We're just one of the lights of many lights that are here to be bridges and lighthouses for folks to bring them into feeding the light. But it's so important that I personally feel, and my higher self and my soul and the intuition feel, I can't put any time on anything else. I just can't, because this will take all of my time and everything that I've got to put into it. It's going to take, and there's nothing better than doing what we're doing to help other people, other folks out there, you know, raise their frequency, raise their vibration, and build their relationship with the divine within them. Everything's within it. It's within everything. We're all part of it. We're all like one. All of existence is in it. If it wasn't there, there would be nothing. It's like the canvas of a painting. Without the canvas, there's no painting. So it just, it's common sense. To me, it's common sense. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what my IQ is, because a lot of people will get upset about that. But anyways, my son Tommy has 148 IQ, just so you know. So to me, it makes common sense that the
Yeah.
divine is everywhere. But to a lot of people, they can't comprehend that everything's in it and it's in everything and everything's made of it. And you said, Sister Honey, we're light, we're vibrating light. And then we're also, this body here is like 72, 74% water.
Yeah. If you think about it, the body of what we would call God or source is all plasma, and we are the cells in the body of God. So think of it that way. And then, because everything is a microcosm of a macrocosm, so fractals and all that kind of stuff. All you have to do is look at the Mandelbrot theory and you can see. But we basically are made up of plasma with different frequencies. That's it.
Yeah, we're vibrating light. When they look at us in the highest, most powerful microscope, we're this vibrating light. We're just vibrating light. So we're our spiritual beings having a human experience, just like the Christ, which came in as Yahushua, which people call Jesus. If you look at all the teachings, not the ones just in the Christian Bible, and there's Bibles, there's things out there, the books of the Essenes, the Gnostics. I mean, my goodness gracious, there's been a lot of things that's happened throughout history, because what people call the elite, which they're not, have wanted to keep control of humanity and make sure they didn't understand that they're part of the divine and the divine is part of them. And the divine said very clearly, you are made in my image. So what does that mean? I mean, life and death is in the tongue, and you will eat the fruit of it. I mean, I watch people in my business life. I go and consult for companies, and I'd watch the owner of the company just cursing his business every single day, just talking down to it and destroying it with his words, with their words. It's amazing. You got to be really, really, careful what you're doing. But we're going from awakening to activation. What you say, Sister Honey? You want to talk about that a little bit? Because
Yeah,
I know this awakening has been going on for a while and it has intensified, but now it's time for activation.
it is. So we're basically moving from, we've been, most of us, doing a lot of work with our soul. And now it's really intensified for the inner child, which is your human soul. So eventually, we probably won't be here on earth anymore as a big soul. The big souls will go and do their own thing, and humanity, will drive their own ship, right? They'll be doing their own thing. So, in order for them to do that, they need to grow. And we're at that point where it's time for humanity to say, I'm free. I'm a sovereign being. I'm free. And we're really being pushed in that direction right now. So I think if you haven't really looked at what your inner child is and the human part of you, and you haven't done anything with that, I would really look at it now, because we're really being pushed to clear that so that we can go into this next step. And all this Atlas information that's coming in is activating that to happen, because we're being pushed to let go of the old. And a lot of that is old programming that we're not aware of. It's programming of, well, this is how this works. And this is how this works. This is how you drive a car. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. And guess what? I bet there are other ways to do some of the things that you think are written in stone. And that's the painful stuff that's coming up for people.
Yeah, I mean, in my own life, I'm dealing with it.
Yeah.
In business, I'm really dealing with the stuff that it will be all put to bed and to rest by the end of this year. Period. I say that, and some people say, "Well, dang, Jim, that's kind of egotistic." No, that's confidence, and that's me declaring and decreeing it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't declare and decree it, and you don't know, like I put my action behind my words, and that's why I get things done. That's what this whole thing about awakening to activation. Okay, we're awakening, we're awake. Some of us are awakening more. Some of us are increasing our frequency more. Hopefully, everyone watching this episode live and the recording of it, you are, awakening more and you're increasing your frequency more. But now it's activation time. We got to activate what we're here to do with building the new earth. And Sister Honey, that's what I love about what we're doing in Step Into Your Power community, is we've got people in there that are congregating together, supporting each other, praying for each other, and helping people get into that where you're increasing your frequency, and that helps the collective, and you're working on yourself. And then we have Ascension Mastery that we'll talk about later on, that we're actually in there building the new world together. Mm-hmm. We're in there building the new world together. It's exciting times. I mean, here's something that I want people to reflect on. Ask yourself this: how am I embodying what I have already received? So all of these downloads, all of this awakening information that you have received, how are you embodying it? How are you implementing it? Those people who've been following me for a while, as far as the information that I put out, you've been absorbing the information. I say these things. Information without implementation is meaningless. It doesn't mean anything. Lots of people gather information, but they don't do anything with it. They don't take action to implement what they've learned. Yeah. Sister Honey and I were having this conversation about how many people on this planet might even be real. and I don't know the exact number, but I know one thing, that the majority, like some people say, are not awake. And they're going about their day in slumber. Go ahead, sister.
Well, I would think about your loops. So we get into loops, and right now we're on a spiral up. So that's ascension. Ascension looks like a spiral up. And it's basically loops that are starting to separate and go up. And that's how we're ascending. We're getting further and further up the spiral. And the reason that it's a spiral is because a lot of times you have to revisit something that you didn't completely get through yet. And that's what we're doing right now. You can see it in the outside world. That's what's happening, and that's what's happening within us. And the biggest thing is we have to be the being that we want to be now. So you need to embody it now. And a lot of what we do is we get in our routine and then we don't break from that. So I would really suggest making lists of, these are the things I'm going to implement and to basically change my lifestyle. So we're going from a lifestyle of the 3D to a lifestyle of the 5D. So what does that look like for you? And what do you want to create there? And really mapping it out for yourself and starting to implement maybe one thing each week and really focusing on it. Because we haven't really practiced stuff very much. I know just talking to my higher self, it took me probably 6 or 7 years to really, really get into it. And once I got into it and I paid attention, it just sped up. And I knew the information, but I wasn't implementing it. And I didn't really implement it drastically until probably 2020.
Yeah, well, that was like the acceleration of the awakening 2020 for humanity. But it's interesting that, over 90% of people that were tested for DNA psychic abilities, where the certain gene was at a certain thing for ability, like 90% of the people have that ability.
Yeah.
That's because we're talking about like all these different psychic abilities, like communicating via the mind, your intuition, all of that stuff. 90% of the people that were tested had that active in their DNA, and only 10% it was dormant, but their environment, their epigenetics caused it to be that way. So really all of God's creation has that capability. And then, like you said, Sister Honey, you worked on it for, if you don't work on it, you're not gonna, it's not gonna do anything. It's like if you don't build a relationship with the divine, and I mean actually having a conversation, like we're having right now, like Sister Honey has with her higher self, like I have with my higher self, like I have with my soul family, like I have with my guardian angels, like I have with the divine, like I have with the Holy Spirit. Some people call it the Spirit, like I have with the Christ. This is your family. This is your crew. This is this is everything. More than anything, it is. And
yeah. We tend to forget that just like on Earth, you have a family tree. You also have a family tree beyond that. So, and this is the game. This is the matrix, and it's organic and it's beautiful and we're learning all kinds of things. But beyond that is where the real action is. I mean, that's where we plan everything. That's where we create. And that's where we get into what we're going to do here. And I think that's a hard concept for a lot of people because they haven't been allowed to be spiritual. They haven't been allowed to go within. And they haven't been allowed to explore who they really are. But that's all changed now, and we're doing it at a pretty rapid rate now.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have this point that I wrote down here. The call you once heard is now asking to be lived. So that's what that again, it goes all back to information without implementation. Because
Mhm.
what does it mean if you have a blueprint to everything if you don't implement anything? And you're just sitting idly by. And I've said for years now, and I had the same thing happen to me, Sister Honey, where 2020 really accelerated things for me in a big,
Mhm.
big way. Really accelerated them for me, and I think it that resonates with a lot of folks out there. If it does, comment on it. By the way, I forgot to say like, share, subscribe, or follow,
Yes.
but I'll have to put that in my notes too. I forget to do that, but please do that. Share this with folks, because go look at the other episodes. Again, as this audience grows, I'm sure there'll be more negative, but it's like 99.99% positive stuff that people are writing. We're very
Mhm.
honored, grateful, and humbled that it's helping as many people as it's helping. But also, before we get into our next segment, we're going to talk about integration in motion. I want to again offer you to join our free spiritual community, Step in Your Power. And this is all about spiritual awakening, spiritual connection, connecting to your soul, connecting to the divine, connecting to your soul family, all of that. And then in here for free, you have all these other brothers and sisters that you can congregate with, that you can pray for, that you can communicate with, that you can share information with. And it's helping lots of people. We're going to start showing some of the comments that we're getting from folks. We're going to get their permission first, but you just go in there and you look at comments that are going in and the prayer requests and all of that happening. It's a wonderful thing. And people are actually, not everybody, because again, it's not everybody that takes action, but the people that are taking action and utilizing the free tools within it and the lives and the support within it are actually moving through what we call the seeker stages, which means they're increasing their frequency.
Yeah. There's so many tools in there, including the music.
Music tools, yeah.
And I Crystal and I went to the woods yesterday and just played music. Do we know what we're doing? No, we don't know how to play these instruments. We haven't been taught how to play them, but we had fun and we enjoyed ourselves. And that was the main thing. So, really honoring that inner child. So, as you start to step into your purpose, don't forget to still take care of your human self. That's really important because we are being activated. It is time to change the world right now. That's what we're here for. We didn't come here just to say, yes, the world is changing for me. We have to change first, and then the world changes.
Yes. Yeah. And you're talking about there's a space, we have to explore the space between revelation and application. So, meaning, okay, I have a revelation. Now I have to apply it. You need to do what Sister Honey was talking about. We talk about the column exercise, where you write on a piece of paper whatever the topic is, wellness, spirituality, whatever it is, whatever the category is. You write that at the top and you put a line down the middle and you put what's serving me and what's not serving me. And you be honest with yourself and you really think and meditate on all the things that are serving you and all the things that are not serving you in that particular category. And what do? Remove the things that are not serving you and replace them with things that will serve you. That's it.
Yep.
That's what you need to do. And interesting, you talked about music yesterday. I actually recorded myself singing. I will not be playing that publicly, by the way, but I actually created a song out of worship for the
Nice.
divine. Okay. Not within religion, within relationship. And I tell you, there's nothing better than playing music and singing and dancing and spinning and just being with the divine in that kind of love. it lights you up. And
Mhm.
what it does is it sends a shock wave through the collective grid that affects, I don't even know how many people, but thousands, if not more, people that
Oh, yeah.
one person, affect. And so, yes, you have to implement. Yes, you have to look at, okay, how do I integrate downloads into daily choices and habits? I wrote that down too, because that's important. How do you integrate these downloads into daily choices and habits? Because you have to create habits out of these things. And again, the column exercise is really good because it lets you know where you're currently at. That's
Mhm.
another reason why we have the seeker stage quiz. So you can understand, where am I currently at? And what tools in this community do I need to utilize in order to help me move forward? And we lay that out for you. So if somebody, Sister Honey, I look at it like this: if somebody isn't implementing things to move their frequency up and to move their self forward, then they got to really look within themselves and see what's stopping them, what's holding them back from doing that. Because there's nothing more important. I think you said something, and I'm not a date setter here. Okay, it happens when it happens, and timelines are timelines.
Yeah.
But but I do think that, I've been saying this for years too, about, there's going to be no more gray. You're either going into the light or into the darkness, and you can make that choice. It's free will. We're
Mhm.
sovereign beings. It's your will. There's beings that have chosen to be turned into energy again, pure energy with no consciousness, because they would not change.
Right.
They would not change their evil, dark ways. So what happened to them? They don't exist anymore. And you can burn in hell forever if there is really a hell. I don't know. I'm not going to get into that situation. No. But at the end of the day, what's worse than that would be not existing at all. I mean, if you're not existing at all, like you're erased completely with no consciousness ever, pretty severe. So I think that we all need to really look within ourselves like we've never done before, really understand these things coming to us, and then how are we going to implement these in our daily habits and routine in order to move forward.
Yeah. That's really important. And the there's no one here that's listening that is going to disperse and not have a consciousness anymore. You are eternal, but there were beings back in like the midst of the really heated time in the universe that did have to go back because they refused to heal. So that's important. But also, think about the other things that you can do, like the dancing, the singing. And they outlawed dancing for a reason. They outlawed it. They outlawed ghost dancing, which is Native American. And they did that because it creates. And we do that in the astral plane. We dance up there. We do all of the things that we do down here. That's why we're still doing it down here. It's not so different. It's just completely unencumbered up there. So we know who we are and we can move freely about. But you want to bring more and more of that into this existence. So the more you are in flow, the more that you take care of yourself, and the more that you really honor who you are and what your purpose is, and you write things down and you implement them, the bigger your life is. I mean, it's going to change. Your life is going to get bigger and better and more beautiful all the time. And it's as simple sometimes as changing what kind of thing you drink in the morning, you know? So don't make it into something really hard. It could be that your body doesn't really want you to be drinking 3 or 4 cups of coffee. And maybe you're better off drinking a cup of green tea. Start with the little things and expand.
Yeah, that helps, right? Just, like I drink water and I drink filtered water and then I'll drink hydrogen water. Now I have the pills, the tablets to drop in there
Yeah.
like you did. I had the machine and it burned up like quick. So I wouldn't recommend the machines, but looking at that column exercise in every category of your life, including your wellness side, and really making those decisions. And also, your money is your energy too, and
Hmm.
you're the steward of it because everything belongs to the divine. We're all part of the divine, so we have everything we need, but also you get more of what that's there for you already. It's everything you ever need or ever will get is there, but whether you're ready for it energetically matters. Are you vibrating at the frequency to get it? And then when you get it, are you a good steward of it? Are you doing what's right? Or are you doing what the ego is calling you to do? I mean, think from the heart. I've been really working on thinking from the heart and not the mind, and giving the divine, all the gratitude, and great gratitude is so powerful. But thanksgiving and gratitude for that heart mind connection, that coherence between my heart and my mind. Actually, we had somebody I won't mention. I just got this today. This beautiful thing here that is made from I think stones like crystals or whatever they are,
Uh-huh.
but for my purpose, all wrapped with silver. And then I have my band on, of course, with 300 frequencies in it. I've got
Yeah.
things in my office that I have that are giving me good frequency. I listen to the good frequency music, the healing frequency music that we have in stepinyourpower.com. That's free for everybody to listen to. Powerfully created too. You'll feel it. But just start saturating your environment with good stuff, good frequency. And then, like Sister Honey said, do little things at a time to change your habit. If you're drinking a bunch of Cokes, you might want to think about not doing that, because those, I wouldn't be doing that. I would try to, I'm moving more and more to fruits and vegetables. Even meat is starting to, I don't want to say gross me out, but starting to, I'm not interested, as much in it as I was before. So, we're all changing. And again, Sister Honey talked about, we're moving into a 5D, or she feels we're here already,
Yeah.
but people are stuck in their 3D habits.
Yeah.
So they're not implementing full 5D, even though 5D is right here available. And it's always been, but much more than ever before. Most people can't get out of that 3D thinking to reach any of it. So we help you with that at steptoyourpower.com. So
Hmm. Yeah, and we're kind of being forced right now. I mean, there's a lot of energy that's being pushed, and it's being pushed through our bodies, it's being pushed through the earth, and all those codes that are coming in, not just from Atlas, but also from the sun. So, from the rest of the souls. And if you look at astrology, astrology is a map, it's a map of energy. So, what are the energies going to be? Go look at astrology. What are the planets doing? They all have different energy. Guess why? Because they're all souls. So every planet has a soul. Every soul
well,
has.
you know that if you read even the book of Enoch that's available out there, when it talks about the suns and the stars and all that, all run by angels and souls.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
They're
Sorry for interrupting you,
no,
sister.
no. That's what it is. It's all souls. So Mother Earth has a soul, and she has children, and all of these planets have children, and they all have souls, and they probably have other lives that they're living at the same time, because everybody has different fractals. So they could be a planet and then they could be an ET at the same time.
Yeah, most people don't understand that they're living these multiple lives simultaneously, because their oversoul is like a pine cone with all these different fractals on it, just like the divine is that in a massive size. You know what I mean? Where we're all of these things within the divine itself. So it's very interesting. And I'm excited that this information is going to come out more and more and more and more. But again, going back over, integrating downloads into daily choices and habits, it's really important that write down all these downloads you're getting. Like I've done so much journaling in past lifetimes that I don't even do it, because it's like I have that journaling, like it happens to me like this, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But for most people that can't follow through, journaling is really important. And if you can't remember what these downloads are, and it's going to take you time to integrate them and make them daily habits and choices, then you
Mhm.
got to write them down. Like when I get my downloads, I implement immediately. I don't like wait around for it. It's just the way I am. I'm on a mission. I'm here for that purpose. So I can't be, and Sister Honey's the same. I can't be sitting there even taking the time to journal myself personally because I'm implementing, as it's coming down. So most people though don't do that, but you need to write it down so you remember these are the downloads I'm getting. Now let me take these and implement them in my daily habits so that I have them. Because I have another thing down here to ask everybody: why embodiment matters more than excitement. So we all can get really excited.
Yeah. But then it could fade. Just like you're excited about somebody in high school and you're like, "Oh my gosh, they're so cute. So I definitely need to have a date with them." So, and then you go and you have a date with them and you have nothing to talk about. So guess what? All that excitement went out the window. Maybe you're excited for a few more dates, but really it doesn't last. So you need to implement things if you want them to last. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important to implement. Again,
Mhm.
another talking point I wrote down here is inspiration opens the door, integration lets you walk through it. So again, we talk about the integration side of it. So we're all getting these downloads, we're all getting this information. Hopefully, again, I'm implementing on demand. I mean, I'm not messing around. I have no time to sit there and wait. Yes, I do journal some stuff, but I just implement. I was given something the
Mhm.
other, like a week ago, and it's already 10 days ago, it's already live. That's how quick I take. Most people would have taken 6 months to make it live. Brother Jimmie, is a week, okay? Because I understand the importance of this whole thing
Yeah.
and why I'm here and why Sister Honey's here and why my son Tommy's here and other brothers and sisters and other folks we have in the community and what we're doing here, why we're here. I'm not worried about what's going on around the world and the pillars of society. I like the crumbling happening because I know what's on the other side of it.
Well, and you're encouraging the crumbling because you're not focused on it. So that's one thing too to remember is if you can focus on what you want to do and start implementing it and you're creating, then guess what is disintegrating? The things that you're not paying attention to. So we don't need a lot of those 3D things. I can't think of any 3D thing that we really need right now that has to do with control or fear or any of those lower energies. I feel like they're not important anymore. And people sometimes ask me questions about some of the lower energies. And maybe it's something that we saw as negative in the past, like a negative ET or something. And fear. And I'm like, it doesn't exist. It just doesn't exist. It's not worth your time. And it's really not worth your attention. So I won't talk about those things because I don't believe that they're real. And it calls them back into existence if you keep focusing on them. So that's my
Yes.
attitude about it too.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
My son put a good post up about loosh
Yeah.
energy in the integrated circle, and that's part of our Ascension Mastery program that we have. It's a membership that we have within A Step Into Your Power. Got to admit, them some beautiful images there, folks.
That's
Go ahead and
great.
comment on them images down there in the comments. But it's really important that you understand. how to, to maintain your energy too. And one of the things we have in the Step in Your Power community is we, under the practice portal, we have all of these energy clearing techniques. We have all the affirmations, we have meditations, we have energy healing frequency music, we have journaling, how to create your journals, your workbooks, and all of that stuff that you need. Then we've got the circle where you can go in and you can post positive things. Like, one thing I'll say, we're not Facebook. We're not allowing people to go in there and beat up on each other. We're not allowing people to go in there and be negative. If they're going to be negative, go to Facebook. You got Facebook for negativity. You're not going to do it in Step in Your Power. This is all about love and light. This is all about all of us helping each other increase our frequency and praying for each other and sending love and blessing to each other. And as you learn, like what Christ did in his carnation as Yahushua. Because remember, the Christ was in the Holy Spirit, which is the female, came out of the divine, like the first two entities. Okay.
Mhm.
So this Christ has been many beings in many worlds and many things to teach people to go through the experience of a human so that it could understand the experience of it. Why are we all doing this anyways? Why are these oversouls doing it? Because they want the experience. They want the knowledge. They want the experience. They want to go through it, right? So, Christ said that your faith healed you. Now, a lot of people thought it was that he healed all these people. Well, he healed a lot of people, but it was their faith that healed them. And he said, you'll do these things and much more.
Yep.
And then people say, well, that's blasphemy. No, it isn't. How is it? You create everything in your life, good or bad. Everything in your life that you have going on right now is your responsibility. Take ownership of it. Own it 100% with your heart. Own it, and guess what? You can make it whatever you want. I'm back in the Dominican Republic in February. I'm at one of the most beautiful beaches on the planet. The divine's given me stewardship over a beautiful situation over there. Set me up for, I'm not going to retire, but set me up beautifully over there for retirement. Why? Because I said I was going to have it. He said I was in agreement with what he wanted to do there. The name of the city is City of God. There's a portal over there. Even Sister Honey knows it. And I mean, I get ramped up there, and there will be a spiritual community, and it's already starting to form over there. So, you can have whatever you want as long as it's in alignment with what you're here to do, and you're going to be a good steward of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really agree with that. And if you have a purpose that you bypass, that you ignore, then it will go to the next person that's willing to take it on. And I think that's important to remember, because you will have other things that come up for you. But if you ignore one purpose, then that purpose goes to somebody else because it needs to get done. So there's a lot of things that need to get done now. And we're the ones that are going to start to do them. And I'm so excited for that to happen. And I feel like this is the beginning of it. It's where we're going to communicate with each other. Step into Your Power is where we're going to communicate and where we're going to meet each other, because you can meet your local people.
Yeah.
So it's such a beautiful thing, and it's expanding now into quantum energy wellness. I mean, there's a lot of really cool stuff happening, and we're not the only ones doing really cool things, but you'll be able to find a lot of other people that are doing really cool things in there. So it's time for community, really. And in order for us to do community, we have to let go of the ego, let go of, I'm the king of the mountain and I have to be the best one and everybody has to listen to me. That is not the way the world's going to work anymore. And there's not going to be hierarchy. It's going to be togetherness. And it looks like you really love to do this part of the pie, and I really love to do this part of the pie. So I'll work on this and you can work on that. And then we'll come back together and see if we can accomplish the goal that we have in mind. Or maybe you'll do it together at the same time. There's just going to be a lot more community.
A lot more.
Yeah.
A lot more. The next thing we're going to talk about, and again, we want to remind you about grounding. It's so important. I have grounding sheets. We have a lot of grounding practices in the practice portal. You really want to ground. Step on Mother Earth. Get yourself a grounding mat from Amazon. Get yourself some grounding sheets. Make sure they're 100% organic cotton. I think my twin extra large, because we have a king bed, but there's two twins because they go up and down. It was like $52 a sheet. And then I got the pillowcases, which was another $29. But guess what? Now I'm grounding while I'm sleeping. Grounding is critically important. You need to be doing it. But let's get into frequency and form and, the nervous system as the divine bridge between heaven and earth. And, I know you talk about the nervous system a lot, and so do I. And, can you talk a little bit about how that is that divine bridge between heaven and earth?
Well, it's your electrical system. So electricity is what runs the body. The ether is made of electricity. So the body of God is full of electricity. Like, it's just everywhere. And we're part of that. So when you have your electricity blocked or it's not working quite right, then you're not going to feel that great.
No.
Or you're going to be stressed out. So it's important. I saw somebody the other day, and he was in a video, and he was doing something similar to Reiki, and he was moving his hands around on people, and he was sending electricity through them. And he was resetting. Guess what he was resetting? The nervous system. And he may not know it's the nervous system that he's doing. He may be thinking it's meridians or whatever, but that's the nervous system. It's your electrical system. And really keeping your minerals high, that you have lots and lots of minerals right now, is really important because the nervous system is really taxed because we're changing so much.
Yeah, it's you got to take really good care of it, and you've got to rest.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to sleep a little bit, like I used to get up at 5 o'clock every morning. Sometimes now I'm like sleep until 6:15. I was like, if I need to sleep, I'm going to sleep, and I'm not going to. I don't have judgment on it. I'm going to rest and take care of myself. Again, last night I was feeling in my right hand where all of these things were vibrating and the electricity flowing was intense. And again, that can mean that I'm giving out too much, or it could be new codes coming in. There's a couple different things it could be, but it's happening more often now than ever before. These different, dizziness and just, timeline jump things that feel like it's happening. It's interesting. And I've got my daughter experiencing some stuff now. When Atlas came through, I think it hit everybody. I think it just lit stuff up, and it's going to be closest to Earth here coming up, I guess, in December. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. But another thing, that I wrote down here, how emotions, breath, and awareness shape the way frequency moves through the body. And why is that important? You want to talk about that a little bit, Citroni?
Yeah, well, frequency. So you're breathing in. What are you breathing in? The ether, the air. You're breathing in energy. And it's electrifying you. It's giving you the energy that you need. Most of us don't breathe properly. We don't breathe in enough. We don't pay attention to it. And we let our autonomic nervous system control the breath. I gotta say, the autonomic system has gone through a lot of change, and sometimes I forget to breathe. I'll be sitting there, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, and I take in a big breath, and I'm like, oh, I forgot to breathe. So pay attention to that kind of stuff and teach your body to breathe and really do it. Take 20 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, even 5, and just concentrate on your breathing. And your whole system, it's like grounding, really. Your whole system will change.
Yeah, breathing is really important. And Sister Honey, we've spoken. I do a lot of breathing in the morning, but I do breathing throughout the day,
Mm-hmm.
and it's conscious breathing because the breath. Buddha talks about giving thanks for every breath you take in and every breath you let out, because, like you said, it's the living force. It's the energy. It's the, you can go without eating food for quite a while in this physical body, right? You can go without drinking water for a little while, right? But the one thing you can't go for too long with is not breathing. I mean, you can't go too long without breathing. So most people don't breathe properly. They don't get enough oxygen into all of their organs, into their bloodstream that brings it into all of their different parts of their body and their organs. And one of the things is interesting. Again, I don't go to NDs, but Cindy had me promise her I would do a blood test this year, and I did. And I was drinking some honey straight because had a cough and raised my blood sugar a little bit. But
Yeah.
after 2 months, my stuff was perfect. And the doctor said at that time, man, my heart's like a youth, and my lungs are so clear. But that is the breath, that conscious breathing that I do on a daily basis, and what breathing I do at night too.
Mm-hmm.
Really, important that you breathe when you're laying down, when you're giving your nightly blessings, and being grateful for all the things that you've learned, giving that gratitude, and then visualizing, your life. Again, your life, any way that you want it to be, is already there for you.
Yeah.
It's already happening. I mean, the dream that we had, I won't get into detail, but we did get into detail with the Ascension Mastery members about my son Tommy's dream around the whole quantum energy wellness sacred project that we've launched, and how that's going to be something that's going to be around generational, and how that my energy frequency was weaved into it, and yours will be, and my sons will be, and lots of other people will be. But that's how important what you're doing, or what you're supposed to do, is, because when you do vibrate out of whatever, wherever your people are left and you're vibrating out, you're leaving your frequency here too. You've imprinted that into humanity.
Totally. Yeah, we've totally done that, imprinted it into humanity. And when you give somebody something, just like the necklace that you're wearing, somebody created that and their energy created it. So, and then they gifted it to you. So, what are you doing? You're wearing energy that was gifted to you from someone else. And that's why it's beautiful to buy handmade goods. That's why it's beautiful to buy things that are made in a conscious way, like somebody's making them for people in a beautiful way, and they have consciousness that they're thinking about with their business. They're thinking about, what is my intention with my business, and what do I want to create, and what do I want it to say to the world, and what do I want to give to the world. So those kind of things are another thing that we talk about quite a
Yeah,
bit.
it's interesting too, because this brother Vaughn here, and we'll be doing, he'll be having a place within Step in Your Power, and also, the thought that went into this,
Yeah.
based on me and where I'm at and what I'm doing, and these stones and what they represent. He wrote the whole thing down. It's just, and the fact that it gives me the rubbing space here. This is tiger eye. It's really good for, it's called a wisdom talent. He calls this, but he knew what I was going through, doing, and he put this together to help me increase my frequency, but also to balance my nervous system and all of that stuff. And I love that. I
Yeah.
love that he did that. And, the divine told me real quick, well, this is a guy that you're going to have teaching about crystals and how to take care of them and how to talk to them and how to energize them. And then, he does this custom stuff, and then we can have non-custom stuff. And, but this is where we're headed, to bring things together that truly help people step into your power and do what you're here to do by
Right.
implementing in many ways throughout your day.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I enjoy it, Sister Money. I enjoy doing what I'm doing. And, another thing, let me just read this here. Frequency becomes form through presence. So we
Mm-hmm.
know frequency is everything.
Yeah. Well, and the present moment is everything.
The present moment's
Which
everything.
we have always been taught to look at the past, look at my football days in high school or college, or to look at the future. I can't wait until this happens and I have this big, huge house, or I get to go on this vacation. We're taught to not pay attention to what we're doing in the present moment. And that really has shifted quite a bit. I've noticed that I could multitask like you could not believe, and I can't do it very well anymore. I have to actually pay attention to what I'm doing.
Oh, gosh
So,
darn it.
yeah, I know. So, I used to be able to do 3, 4 things at a time, and I cannot do that anymore. I can't, create a thumbnail, listen to somebody talking on the phone, and send a text at the same time. I can't do all that stuff anymore. And what it says to me is I'm more in the present moment.
Yes. Well, it's kind of the same situation we were talking about when I got in here, when I was talking about these other businesses. That
Mhm.
just in my heart, I feel like, the divine's bringing the right people and the right thing will happen. And I'm good with that. You know what?
Yeah.
But again, I see the importance of what we're doing here. And, we have our sacred solutions in the back of in the community, but also now on quantumenergywellness.com, we have our, the sacred solutions that we have in the back, we have there, but we're going to be bringing hundreds of solutions
Yeah.
to quantumenergywellness.com, hundreds of them. That's why it's a project to transform the way you take care of wellness, your energy wellness, your physical body, your spirit, all of it incorporated into, quantum energy wellness. So I'm really super excited. And again, that was a download that happened, over like about 10 days ago or a little bit. I've been
Mhm.
involved in energy wellness through the Ultimate Wellness Band and
Yeah.
all technology, which is great. But now that kind of prepared me for this next stage. It's like what we've been talking about, all this stuff that served you, but
Mhm.
won't serve you maybe in its current form to move to the next level of what you're here to do. Let it go, be grateful for it, let it go with love and blessing, and let the divine organize how this thing rolls out. Because let me tell you something I'm learning and still learning, but learning faster, is that when you let the divine roll it out, it's a lot smoother than if you roll it out.
It
You
is.
try to.
It is. And sometimes some of your things will be delayed. So, I mean, I have a few projects that have been delayed because other projects came up that were more important and needed to be done right now. And there will be so many different projects that get known about and displayed through what we're doing right now, and different people that will be able to showcase who they are and what they're doing. So to me, that's really beautiful, and it's high priority because we're not just Jimmie and I and Tommy are stepping into our power. It's everybody stepping into their power. So it's everybody being their individual self and a piece of the puzzle that gets to be a sovereign being and showcase, this is my purpose.
Yes. Yes. I want to move to the third segment of what we're going to talk about: living light in daily life,
Mm,
which is really important. How to turn spiritual practice into lifestyle, and
yeah.
that's where relationship comes into a big part in an understanding that, look, there's a lot of things that are good in different religions that help people and are comfortable, and they, that's what they are at, and it's okay. There's a lot of people that are coming from there to step in their power, which is wonderful. We don't bash anybody for anything they're doing as long as it's part of light and love. We have no problem. As long as they're not trying to rule others or condemn others or judge others, which, by the way, the Christ told you, don't worry about the splinter in your brother or sister's eye. Take the log out of your own first. You're not supposed to be judging people. You're not supposed to be saying negative things to people, because what you're doing is you're putting that out for yourself to get back, and now it comes back way more than what you put out. So
Yeah.
whatever you're putting out is coming back way more than what you're putting out to you. So make sure you're putting out good stuff. But bringing heaven through habit, how simple acts become sacred service. So how to turn spiritual practice into a lifestyle. Talk about that a little bit, Sister Honey.
Well, really create a routine. You have routines for other things. And if you don't want to have a routine, so this also came up yesterday. If you don't want to have a routine, then have a rotating routine. Maybe one day you go to ground, maybe the next day you go swimming, maybe the day after that you go for a walk, but have something every day that you do that's helpful for you. And do that not only with your physical body, but also with your mental body and for your future. So, even though you don't want to get stuck in the future, you want to start creating, building for your future. Just like we're ascending basically up a spiral staircase, you really want to go ahead and also be willing to take one stair at a time and keep going up. So that means, well, I want to improve health or I want to improve wealth. What do I do to improve it? And actually write down a plan and start doing the plan. You know, I mean, it's really not as hard as we think it is. It's that ego that wants to keep us small that makes you feel like it's hard. And we've all had to overcome that in many, instances in our lives. And that is attached to the inner child. So it's important to love your inner child and nourish them and get them to move forward in life, because we have a lot to do as a collective. We have a lot of things to create.
Yeah, you do. And it does come back to one of the episodes we did about surrendering.
Mhm.
Surrendering yourself to the divine and building that relationship. If you focus on the relationship with the divine and understanding that you are part of it and it's part of you, and that you do have a soul family and you do have guardian angels and you do have other there, I mean, it's interesting. I would have people tell me, Jimmie, aliens are demons. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute, hold on. Yeah, I'm sure there's demons. I know that there are, but
Mhm.
and most of them are getting dissolved too. But at the end of the day, you think that the divine creator made all of this, and the only beings are earthlings?
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. Okay. So, knowing that we have other beings in higher frequencies, and some maybe, I don't know if there's any in lower frequencies than us. I mean, I don't know. Maybe the dogs and the cats and the animals, but at the end of the day, understanding that relationship is the most important, in having faith and surrendering, to know that if you do that and you understand, you know, what the masters, ascended masters, have said about heaven's within you, God is in you, you're in God, you're a part of the divine.
Mhm.
You were made in its image. I mean, there's so many things that you can point to. It amazes me that people tell me, well, I've been going to church for so long, but they know nothing about scripture. Nothing.
Right.
I don't even think they studied their own Bible, because if you look at the words of Christ just in there, the limited amount of words that they've allowed in there, which by the way are really limited, okay, super limited. But if you study those,
Yeah.
you understand what the Christ was saying.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what we're sitting here talking to you about, what Buddha talked about, what other ascended masters talked about. Okay? Go ahead,
Mm-hmm.
sister.
Well, if you think about it, there's been a middleman all the time. And that's the way the distortion really worked, is because we were always listening to somebody else and giving our power away to them. And that doesn't work. The power lies within you. So figure out it for yourself, like whatever it is. And you can get tools, but really the main thing, the main decision point is you. And you have to decide, this is real, this is not real, this is good for me, this is not good for me. And we're the ones who have to decide that for ourselves. And if you push somebody to decide, because you want them to do it, it never works. And that's because they have to decide. So if you have a teenager and you don't want them to get a sports car, but they have their own money, they're going to do what they want. They'll probably go buy that sports car, right? Because they think it's cool. And for you, you're not going to be satisfied with that, but you can't control other people. And that's one of the other things that is in the midst of being let go of right now is control. And not only controlling others so that they can fit into the box that makes you comfortable, but controlling everything in our lives that helps us feel comfortable. We need to let go of always feeling comfortable because it actually keeps us stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so true. The fear that everybody has, because a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. I used to be that way. But at the end of the day, having faith, I also remember every time I thought, oh, this is just terrible. Next thing you know, it was a blessing.
Right.
One door shut, the other door open. So it's interesting. But I want to talk about these containers for frequency. You've got this relationship container for frequency. You got a work container for frequency. You got a rest container for frequency. Let's just talk about those three. And are the right frequencies in those? Like your relationships, are they energetically good for you?
Yeah.
Is your work environment energetically good for you? Are you spending time, in rest? And what are you doing for rest? And is it frequency in line with for your highest purpose? You got to look at the things that you're doing in your life, all these different areas. And again, I would say take a column exercise, a piece of paper for all the different areas in your life, relationships, work, rest, wellness, all of it. And really take some time out. You owe it to yourself to put a few hours into really, really detailing out what is serving you and what is not serving you energetically for your ascension, your increase in frequency, you're getting closer to the divine. Because what's happening when you're increasing your frequency, what's happening? You're getting closer to the spirit, the Holy Spirit, people call it the spirit. I mean, the divine, the Christ consciousness, all these things you're getting, you can hear them better. You can feel them stronger.
Yeah.
There's nothing more important than that.
Mm-mm. No. And if you live that way, it's amazing what can happen. Like I used to have a regular job and I was a store manager. And then, you know what happened in 2020? And I spent a year kind of figuring out what I was going to do. And then my higher self came in and said, here's your download, get on YouTube. So I did. And it's changed the entire way that I live my life. So you can do it. It's just, will you be willing to let go of the idea that you can't do it? That's the biggest thing.
It is. And I've got another point here. Your life is the sermon your soul came to speak. So it makes a little bit of sense, don't it?
Mm-hmm.
Your life, the way you live your life, is that sermon that your soul came to speak. And you really got to take the time out to really define these areas that we're talking about, these containers of these frequencies that you've got in your life. Make sure, like this office here, I was telling Sister Honey, my grandson Noah comes in here, he's on fire. He's on fire outside his office. When he walks in here, into my sanctuary in here, where I do my meditation and my visualization and my energy techniques and my breathing, he is lit up. He wants to be in here all day long if he could. And why is that? Because of
Yeah.
the energy. The energy, because his soul is so, he's got an old soul, but it's new to this body. And it hasn't been here long enough in earth to get it, like we all get all this, energy clutter, all this,
Yeah.
you know, where you have to do energy hygiene. You have to, keep your energy at a high level. And I work on it. And Sister Honey works on it. My son works on it. I mean, it's important that you're working on it. It really is important. And one of the things that we're doing, I want to show this again, is Ascension Mastery. Um, this is where we're actually involved in building the new earth. We're involved in the sacred projects. We're involved at looking at other sacred projects that other brothers and sisters are bringing to the table. We're involved in helping other people, like this beautiful brother who did this and who can tailor make these things for people, which is very, I mean, I felt the difference when I put this on today.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I felt the difference because, what was done there was he went back and forth with me. He seen what I was doing. He knew the mission because he got the download too, because it's interesting when you're all, walking that path of ascension. Each one of us are taking a little bit of a different journey, but we're all in sync.
Yeah.
And this community's got 6,500 people in it now. And next year at this time, you could add a 0 to that or 2. It's up to the divine how fast.
Yep.
And, the more people that are getting together like that and coming together, even though it's not everybody, it is a portion of the people. And those numbers matter. Those increased frequencies matter to the collective and what's going on for everybody's ascension. Not only, by the way, Earth's ascension and humanity's ascension, but for all of existence.
Yes. All of existence. The whole universe has ascended, which means we've let go of polarity. So the body that we call God or source, he likes to be called source, I'm getting. So that body is a divine being and said, I don't want polarity to be the way that we learn anymore. I'm not interested in that. Think of that in the body of somebody. What would polarity be? An autoimmune disease? Like something yucky. So he's done with it. Or they're done with it. Whatever you want to call that body of consciousness. And we agreed to let go of it, but humanity's still playing it out in a lot of ways.
Yes. Yes. Well, I want to read a few things here before we close up episode 18 today, which we So thankful. We love you all very much. And please comment, share, like, subscribe, or follow, depending on where you're watching this. But one of your heart breath with mantra. This is one of the mantras that I've written down. I live what my soul has spoken. So you can breathe. Take your left hand, which is your feminine, and your right hand, your masculine side, and breathe and fill it in your heart, and then say that to yourself. I live what my soul has spoken. If you should be doing affirmations. The great thing about Step in Your Power is we've got under the practice portal the daily affirmations, and then we have the nightly affirmations, and they're very powerful. And we have also meditations. So, there's power in your words, and I am is very powerful, right? I mean, it's a very, very powerful, affirmation. Also, journaling reflection. Where in my life can I bring more consciousness embodiment? So where can you implement in your life? Think about that. That's really, really important, right? It's very, very important. And again, all of this stuff we have in stepinyourpower.com in the free community is there to help you with this. You can get to what we call seeker stage, where you're overflowing, expanding, and overflowing. So now not only do you have enough energy for yourself and for your family, but you got so much, you're pouring it out. And it doesn't deplete you because you're giving it from overflow. And in that free community, you have everything you need in there in order to get to that point. If you choose to do it, right? But that's up to you. No one's going to, Sister Honey, I can't walk your journey for you. You got to walk your journey for you, and you got to implement it. And that's so, so, so important. Another thing, the call doesn't end with yes, it begins there. It makes sense? Okay, hopefully. And then affirmation, I am the call in motion. You are. So heed the call. Implement the things that you need to implement to increase your frequency. Look at every single container, if that's what we're going to call it, or every circle in your life, from your relationships to your work, to your wellness, to your connection, to your relationship with the divine. Look at it all. Relationships, part of that relationship, the number one is the divine, your soul family, your guardian angels, all of that. That's at the top of the list. It's really important to do that. And I want to, Sister Honey, before I give a little blessing for everybody, before we end today's episode, some final words from you today?
I would say love your inner child. Remember that all of the things that we're talking about can be fun.
Yes.
And they need to be fun because we learn better if we're having fun. And also, when you speak it or you write it, it's so much more powerful than when you just think about it. So speaking it or getting it down on paper is really going to make the changes. It's going to help you make those changes. So I would definitely do that.
Yes. Another thing I have written down here, blessing for steady. Well, I want to give you blessings for steadiness, strength, and expression of divine will. But when you live the call, heaven finds form through you. And it's true. Focus on that relationship, knowing that heaven's within you, the divine's within you, you're within the divine. Focus on that relationship and everything will unfold. Don't take anything personal. Let it flow. Be grateful for what doesn't serve you any longer is an ending. Give it love and give it blessing because big things are coming. They're already there. All you have to do is put yourself into the proper frequency and they come. Make sure you're a good steward of them and you'll be given more.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that's the way it works. But I love you all very much.
Love you guys.
We will see you next time. Take care and come and be part of the community. Love you all. Take care.
Love you. Bye.